Hello guys, welcome back to Custom Gamer. My name is Daz and today we're going to be looking at Mission Improbable 3. It is finally here and wow, this mod just took my breath away. I could not believe it when I played it. I mean, I knew there was going to be a visual upgrade and, you know, an extra map and everything, but just the amount of stuff added to this version of the release is just amazing. I had a look through the README and some information on the ModDB page, and Magnar was saying that they replaced almost all of the Half-Life 2 content with original art, and the artist and texture he was working with this was a guy by the name of Rick Underhill, and he created over 300 new textures and 300 new models for this version of the mod alone, which is fairly impressive. This is why it took so long. It kind of he said, yeah, we'll just make a few new textures and a model or two and it'll be fine, it'll be done. And yeah, things tend to balloon quite quickly with things like this. And but you can tell just from the intro, you can just tell that there's so much love been put into this. I mean, the original with just the Half-Life 2 stock content looked amazing, and this just pushes it over the edge. It's absolutely fantastic. Now, I noticed a lot of people were kind of complaining a little bit about the color correction used in this version of the mod, and I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, I like it. I don't really have a problem with it. I tried turning off the color correction, and the difference is so minimal. I really don't know why people were complaining so much. I mean, the main thing that changes the look of the map in the first level, I think, is just the change in the lighting. It's a lot more kind of, it looks like a lot more of kind of sunset style theme. Even though the sun is way up in the sky, but yeah. The colour correction only adds a slight orange tinge to it. I think it's the case that, you know, Mission Impossible 1 and 2 were kind of community favourites and people kind of fell in love with the map, and then, you know, when Magnar comes along and changes it for the final release, but it's like kind of if Leonardo da Vinci got up from his grave and started changing the Mona Lisa, you know. People wouldn't necessarily like it, even though he'd probably be making it better. So I think that's probably what's happened there, but I actually really like the new looks, and but just looking at the attention to detail here, I mean, this intro area was crazy good before, but now it's just insane. He's got like individually modelled planks of wood with like little cuts in it and kind of, you know, rounded edges, and oh my god. It's quite amazing. I mean, but when a map like this comes along, you know, mappers think, you know, oh, I've pushed the Half-Life 2 engine to its limits, you know, I don't think it can do any more than this, and then a map like this comes along and just blows all your expectations out of the window, and it's amazing. See, I noticed a couple of people on the Planet Phillip thread were saying they were having performance issues as well, and I can kind of see that because the amount of detail everywhere in this mod is insane. I imagine optimization must have been a real kind of issue. They probably played with it for a long time to get it as good as they can, but it's probably one of the most detailed maps I've ever seen in Half-Life 2, so I'm not surprised if it does slow down a bit on some people's PCs. Luckily, it was okay for me. I mean, I think there might be a couple of frame rate issues in this video, purely because I'm just using Fraps to record, and that tends to bite into your frame rate a little bit. I'll have to play it again without and see how it is. Yeah, it's cool seeing all the changes that have gone into the maps as you it's almost like being able to play a level design analysis video that I would do, where I go through different versions of the map, you know. It's interesting. I think it'd be really fun to play through Mission Impossible 1 and then do 2 and then do 3 like back to back, just to see the evolution of the map as he's gone back and revised it with each release. That'd probably be a really good exercise to do for mappers, just to see if they can work out why they made the changes they did. And there are a lot of changes in Mission Impossible 3, like this first map, there's a lot of things like gameplay changes and layout changes. I mean, just ignoring the visuals completely for a moment, there's a lot of there's a lot of changes in just the gameplay alone, and like the presentation of things, which we'll get into as we get to them. But yeah, just the visuals, wow. I try not to gawp too much, but it really is like the best looking Half-Life 2 mod I've ever seen, I think. And that's saying something, because I think Minerva ticked all the boxes for me. For the longest time, it was like if someone asked me what the most impressive Half-Life 2 mod was visually, it was, you know, instant answer of Minerva, definitely. But I think this might have taken the crown this time. Yeah. Alright, let's go inside here. And like this, if you remember this area from the first and second version of the map, there was kind of little bits of detail in here, but it's just taken everything to the next level. I mean, there's the wall here by the kitchen area, where the zombies are coming from. You can actually blow individual holes in it, and like bits of the plaster will come off, exposing the wood underneath, and all this kind of thing. I mean, it's just there for kind of a visual eye candy thing. Of course, blowing holes in the walls gives you sight lines to shoot through it, but just the fact that it's there, it's just insane. I mean, I think there were holes in it that you could shoot out in early versions of the map, but here it just looks so much better. I don't actually shoot it yet, it happens a bit later on. But yeah, just all the debris lying around on the floor, there's just decals, overlays absolutely everywhere. Now this area's changed a bit. This is where the gameplay has changed a bit. This kind of confused me because I played the original map so many times. I was looking for a way to shut off the power to go down there, but actually turns out that it's actually a completely new puzzle where you have to kind of avoid the water by doing a little bit of jumping and things like that. So here I'm just trying to work out. This is where kind of thing where like players get into habits with maps, and then when you change something, it kind of confuses them a bit. So I'm pretty sure that if I'd never played this before, I would just work out pretty quickly that there's a kind of navigation puzzle here to avoid the water. Yeah, it's playing tricks on me, man. So there we go. This is one of my favourite parts of the map, actually, from the original versions. That dead fast zombie in the water there. And the fact that its body disappears, and it really creeped me out in earlier versions. If you watch my playthrough of Mission Impossible, I keep saying impossible, I've done it so many times. Mission Improbable too. Just in my playthrough, I applauded that quite a bit. Alright, let's just continue. Here you notice the body's gone. That's so great. It kind of puts you on edge, like, where did he go? Yeah, it's just the amazing amount of work he's put into it, because the second map has been touched up just as much as the first one here. Just the amount of work is mind-boggling. It really is. I mean, I was expecting a new map and a couple of tweaks to the old ones with Mission Impossible 3, and as it got closer to release, you know, Magnar was releasing some pictures on his MobDB page, and a couple of updates on Twitter and things like that, and it became apparent that it was just a complete rebuild of all the previous maps. It's just a ridiculous amount of work has gone into this, and I think it's really paid off. I don't want to take the painting with me, thank you very much. I love this door here. I mean, it's so easy to just put a door in your map and be done with it. Like, yeah, that's a door, move on. But here it's got like the broken door, and it breaks as you open it, and you know, it's just attention to detail like this, which really just, once you've got a map to like, you know, 99% awesome, that extra 1% to get to, you know, absolute classic 100% awesome is just, It really is just attention to detail. And this map has it in spades. I mean, just things like the walls around this area here, like the stone walls, just individual bits of stone have been modelled. Again, going back to Rick Underhill's work on this mod. You can see here it's just got individual bits of stone on the walls, and the walls themselves are just made up of individual stones. All the wooden beams here. The way bits of wood fall off this platform is great as well. Yeah, it doesn't sound good. The sound cues there are just right to make the player think, holy shit, run. I think that'd be so easy to mess up, and like, you know, you hear a wooden creaking sound and then you just kind of stand there waiting for something to happen and then die. It's really hard to get the combination of like sound and visual cues correct there to get players to run and things like that. I've lost count of the amount of games and, you know, maps and mods where, you know, a bridge gets destroyed and I'm just standing on it at the time like, is it gonna blow up or not? Oh, I guess it is, and I'm dead. So again here you just got all the detail in the stonework. Really nice. Just exploring around, see if there's any supplies. I really like this lighthouse area from the first map as well. Some great lighting in it. And the wooden beams going around the sides just look awesome. Nice try, son. This is another area where the gameplay's kind of changed a bit. I seem to remember in the old version the gunship fight tended to be slightly longer on the roof here. I'll have to go back and replay the second one now. It's going to really annoy me, but I don't know, it just felt different in this version. It's hard to put my finger on what it was. That's right, I think you got the rocket launcher inside the lighthouse here, didn't you? And it kind of felt like you were meant to fight the gunship. If I'm remembering correctly, and you did get the rocket launcher in the lighthouse on earlier versions of this mod, it kind of felt like you had to fight the gunship here, when in actual fact it would go away and you'd fight it later on the beach. And maybe that's why he took the rocket launcher out and gives it to you later in Mission Impossible 3. Yeah, I love all the little holes in the roof here. Again, it's just lots of little attention to detail, bits and bobs like this. It's great. It's such a small thing as well, but it just adds to the custom visuals of the map. Combine strike team is inbound on your position. If you're still receiving, evacuate the area immediately and try to make your way out of 16. Just follow the road. So here we go. I'm trying to think, if I'm remembering correctly, in the original, in the second version of Mission Improbable, that the whole kind of tower area started leaning over or something and eventually fell off. And I don't know why you removed that in this version. That was so cool. Now we have our Combine Assault. I love the way he actually introduces the Combine in this, because like, you know, in most maps you go somewhere, activate something, and then if you're backtracking through the level, like enemies just kind of repopulate. And there's no real explanation about how they got there or anything. The lighthouse scene here does a great job of explaining that, you know, you see all the Combine dropships coming in and the transports and everything, and it explains to you like, okay, as you go back through the level, there's going to be a crap load more enemies to fight. A really nice way of introducing the Combine there. This guy gets the better of me here, I think. Yeah. Ow. And this area is a great example of, I know I talk a lot about getting the Combine to have multiple paths and kind of, you know, attack the player, from giving the AI multiple choices about how to attack. This area here is a great example of that. So you've got like this circular loop around the lighthouse. Lots of cover for the Combine and the player to use. I mean, it's not just giving the Combine options about how to attack, it's giving the player options as well. So for instance, I can come around here this time and kind of flank them a bit. Oh, looks like I've killed them all actually. Like, yeah, you can kind of stay up here and... so this guy's searching for me, didn't even know where I was. That's great. If you can give the player the option to try and outsmart the enemy, then you should absolutely do that. Reward the player's ingenuity. Or stealthiness, or whatever you want to call it. Alright. Now I like the changes to this area as well. If you remember in Mission Impossible 2, it was kind of like a minecart style thing suspended from the ropes here. And it gave you very little room to move around. And if you remember in my Mission Impossible 2 video, a Combine just threw a grenade into the minecart and it's just instant death. There's nothing you can do about it if that happens. So it's really nice that you've got the setup that he has here on this platform. So if someone throws a grenade, you can just like hide behind the box on the platform there. Really nice. And this lift segment was kind of a bit of a difficulty spike in the original maps. I think I died here a couple of times while the rest of the map was fairly easy. And it feels a little bit easier now, this part, so it looks like he's smoothed that out a bit. There's a lot less manhacks coming. Those pesky bastards. I'll show you my terrible sniping skills. Alright. Now here I am just gawping at all the detail here as well. I like the way it repopulates like ammo and item packs by just using those little Combine drop boxes, which is nice. It's nice. It's just a nice way, like if you are repopulating a level like this with new enemies, when the player's backtracking through it, you know, a lot of people will just kind of throw new items on the ground, like spawn in new items for the player. And it's kind of nice that these items are actually explained by the use of these Combine drop boxes that they've obviously brought with them to hold items. There you go, you notice I've just blown all the holes in the wall there with the grenade and it's just destroyed all the plaster and everything. I mean, I can imagine some people will never even see this. But like, you can shoot all the plaster off and it's got all the wood underneath. It's just ridiculous, the attention to detail. I love it. I almost think that that's something mappers could do a lot more in Half-Life 2 maps, is actually have like destructible scenery. Like things like, you know, blowing holes in walls and everything, and you know, script it so that the Combine can do it as well. That would probably be very, very complicated triggering for all of that, but I think that'd be really cool to kind of, you know, hide behind a wall, then the Combine just kind of shoot a hole through it and start attacking you that way. That'd be really interesting. But anyway, you'll notice here this little Combine bridge is here. This doesn't actually appear until the Combine actually start assaulting the island. When you're up in the lighthouse. It's just to stop the player coming down here straight away, because that'll kind of break the map. But again, it's just another way of like kind of explaining the gating. So now we get to take down the gunship. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you got the rocket launcher earlier in earlier versions of this mod. Oh, please correct me if I'm wrong. I might should be having a derp right there. We'll just leg it into this cave. I love all the new rock models and kind of, you know, rock debris and all that. I mean, there's a lot of different rock models in Half-Life 2, but I think most mappers can just spot them all a mile away. It's a real shame that the Source engine won't let you scale props individually. So you have to have the same size rocks in every single map and mod ever. Oh, it's so annoying. I really wish you could scale props in the Source engine. You'd be able to get so much better like custom looks for maps, but meh. So here I'm just kind of taking a bit of time to look at all the new custom content in the maps. Having a look at the beach area. There's a nice little wave effect on the beach here. I mean, it looks pretty nice. I think I prefer Minerva's kind of beach wave effect. But this is pretty nice as well. Again, all the little I don't even know what you call these things, like all these wooden wooden things going into the sea. Oh, my dictionary fails me. Oh, I don't even know what you call them. It's just nice that it's even there. I mean, I think they were just kind of very basic kind of brush props in the original maps. Alright, so now we're going to grab the car. Just this area is utterly beautiful. It really is. I think my jaw was on the floor for most of this. I'll try not to gawp so much from now on at the visuals. I think I've made my point that this is kind of one of the most visually impressive Half-Life 2 mods I've ever seen. So I'll stop talking about it now. As we go on to part 2. This is probably going to end up being like a 4 or 5 parter because I've got about an hour and a half of footage to get through. But yeah, that was part 1, guys. And part 2 will be coming very shortly. Enjoy.